Oh my gosh, you guys are the best. Kelly and Jeff, you're already here. James, Liz, Carrie, thank you so much for being here. Because, as you know, I like to be in the background of things and I am pushing myself out of my comfort zone to be here with you today. So, welcome. Let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know how the weather is. We just barely um, moved into a place in the Charlotte area. So we are kind of new to this like Charlotte area. So if you know anybody, let me know. But it feels really good to be settled and like kind of getting back to normal. So anyways, thanks Kelly, Jeff, you guys are awesome. All right. So um I just wanted to hop on here today and kind of go over some tips that I've acquired from helping people go live, especially Kim Kaup. I help her go live every week for Coffee with Kim, and there's been lots of things that we've learned. And so I just wanted to hop on and kind of share a few things that might be helpful for you. So I know, James, I know you have a live show. I think you do. Is it coming back in January? Let us know, because I feel like there was like, we talked about maybe you were like taking a little break or something. But Carrie, you're in the Las Vegas area. We were just there not too long ago, a couple months ago with we brought our 2-year-old. So, I mean, it wasn't like the typical Vegas experience, but it was a lot of fun. We got him like we took him down the strip, and anyways, it was great. Let's see, Kelly. Yes, I would love to meet new people around here. And Liz, you're in Philadelphia. It's sunny here too, and I'm like so ready for it to be fall. So, let's see. Okay, and James, yep, looks like it's season 2 is in January. So everybody stay tuned on that. All right. Okay, so, oh, and let's see, Kimberly is in Virginia. I love Virginia. We have family up there. It's beautiful, so beautiful. Okay, so let's just dive in because I promise I'm not going to take up too much of your time today. Let's see. So, organizing your LinkedIn live show. I have noticed that. Hi, Kim. You're the best. And Ryan, good to see you. So I've noticed that the most heavy lifting of live shows is organizing and staying organized so that you can stay consistent. So I just wanted to kind of share a little bit about that. Hey, Jill. So I'm Shelby. If you don't know me, I know a lot of you that are here, so I'm sure this is kind of repetitive, but I've helped produce over 100 episodes on LinkedIn Live. I've been lucky to work with several LinkedIn Learning instructors, and that's close to 6,000 minutes on there. So lots of experience behind the scenes, not in front of the scenes. And I will say, I don't give enough credit to people who are on this side of the screen. So, okay, so today's agenda, meet me. We already know each other, most of us. I'm going to talk through why live streaming matters, the most frequent mistake I see, streamlining your planning process, because it can, if you let it, take over a lot of your time. But there's a way to do it where it's not taking a bunch of your time and it's actually a super efficient way to produce content. So, also worst case scenarios. I want to kind of talk through like what you guys think is the worst case scenario, what I think is the worst case scenario, and maybe why it's not the worst case scenario. And then, of course, questions. So you guys know we like to be live so we can actually like talk things through and actually have a conversation. So my question for you is, have you ever worked with somebody you've never met in real life? Let me know. I feel like at this point in the pandemic, or I guess whatever it is that's happening, I would be interested to know if there's anybody here that has not had this experience. So anybody here who's never worked with somebody remotely or virtually. So hi from Egypt. Hello. Hi, Gabe. Okay. So I work with a ton of people, obviously remotely. I think most of us do. And yes, the power of the internet. When I first start working with somebody, for me, it takes a lot of, well, not a lot, but a few video calls before I'm like, okay, like we're good. Like I know who this person is, I know how they work. And like the video calls for me kind of make that working together feel a little less, what's the word? Like a little less stuffy. So I like to see people's faces. And then as we do that, I feel more comfortable and we can do more like async type of communication. And I've just noticed that, like, for a lot of us, it looks like, yes, everybody's like, yes, yes, in corporate America. That's kind of just like how it is right now. So many virtual colleagues, such a normal thing. Ooh, Liz, I bet managing people remotely would be really hard. I don't have experience in that, but okay. So, what I'm trying to say with all of this is that for me, the interaction on video is where the like foundation of the relationship starts. So I think that's the same if you're trying to like build community here on LinkedIn or you're trying to sell a product. People want to see you and they want to like actually know who you are. And nowadays it's so difficult to kind of take the filters away, take the internet, like make it less, feel less disconnected. So that is why I love live streaming, because I feel like it really just like creates more of that relationship. And for me personally, friends are more important to me than customers. So for me, it's like I like the people that I work with to be my friends, either like my colleagues or if my clients. So friends over customers, always, always for me. Um, let's see. So here's why you should be going live. Less filtery. Yes, Jeff, less filtery. So the engagement rate on live streams is much higher because we're having a conversation just like we are today. So when you go live, think Zoom, less public speaking, because especially when I'm like all by myself here talking to the screen, I'm nervous. I mean, it feels weird and it feels kind of public speaky-ish, but what it really is just us having more of a conversation than if like I was presenting. So the follower rate also has been huge with clients of mine. I've seen increase in subscribers to newsletters, increase in courses sold, and just like the increase in numbers. But I think that the coolest part about all of this is that it's the quality of followers that show up. So Jeff, Kelly, like you guys are like some awesome Coffee with Kim people, and the quality of those relationships that have been built because of Coffee with Kim and other shows that I've helped produce are wild kind of in the internet world, because it's now like I'm super invested in Jen is going to England today, right? So I know that just because of meeting her through Coffee with Kim. And I'm not even Kim. Like it's just the community that's been built is awesome. So that's another reason. And the final reason is the content is just so easy to repurpose. Something I realized recently that I haven't really talked about much, and I feel like maybe should be talked about more, is the fact that you can take this audio from these conversations and make it into a podcast. So people who are podcasting, if you have ever considered going live, I highly, highly recommend it, because it'll be like you doing half the work and getting double the value. So just another reason to go live. If you have a podcast specifically, it's a great, great option. So, okay. So the truth about live streaming is that there can be a little bit of uncertainty for sure. So things that can happen while you're live include failed internet. I've had that happen more than once on the guest part, on the host part, on my part. The internet can be unpredictable. So there's that. Saying things incorrectly. Oh man, I'm the worst at like, oh, I shouldn't have said that and I should have said this instead. But you can't really go back and edit things when you're live, obviously. So it is what it is, which is good and bad. The dog might bark, the doorbell might ring, all of that stuff. Let's see. Yes, this will be on my LinkedIn for like you can rewatch this later on if you would like. And yes to Russ, repurpose, repurpose, repurpose. So easy. And let's see, James, you repurpose all your stuff into smaller bite size, which are great because like right now, short video is kind of the thing, right? So you can take these longer videos, make them shorter, and you have both of that, like the long video content and the short video content. So yes, Russ, life happens when we go live. And it seems to happen more frequently. Okay, so things that live streaming doesn't have to include: rambling, stress, boring conversation, hours of planning. Because if we get our planning process right, we can eliminate a lot of that. So planning is just like the one thing that we can control. So I'm curious for you guys, where do you think people fail most often when they are live streaming? And what do you think that looks like? For me, failing doesn't necessarily mean that the internet went out. It doesn't mean that, I don't know, that you said the wrong thing, that you said something funny that you didn't mean, all of that, or the dog barked or whatever it is. So for you, what do you think people fail most often on when they are live streaming? I also have a PDF of like a couple tips that I give, which again, I wouldn't necessarily say you're failing, but like a few tips of like things that you can do better. So, James, love this. Not doing it regularly and staying consistent. Yes, yes. And yes, I feel like I kind of led you guys into this. Failure to plan. Kimberly, yes, yes, yes. Failure to plan. Not being prepared with questions for the guest. Yes, I actually love this, Kelly, because I think it's really easy to think that the conversations, they are like super organic and like a lot more conversational when you're live, but there is some like research and things that you need to do ahead of time so that you can have a quality conversation that everybody can be involved in and that the guest can like have some good information to bring because you're asking good questions. Um Liz, I am too, obviously. If no one's interacting, I just keep talking and talking. Yes, I'm so bad at that too. But I also have noticed that like people that join live streams want to be a part of the conversation. So make sure you're talking to your audience because a lot of times it'll be like I'll see a number like 200 people are watching live and the host won't be asking the audience questions, so they feel like nobody's there. But there's literally people just waiting to talk to you. Yes, Jeff, not connecting with people, reading from a script. Okay, so this one is interesting because I think there's a time and place for you to have a loose script, but yes, like when you can tell somebody's just like reading off things and like not connecting with the audience, oh, it always kind of like makes me sad because live streaming's not supposed to be that. So, and yes, Russ not starting for sure. Okay, all great, awesome things. So, my biggest thing that I see people fail, or I don't want to say fail, I feel like that's kind of like a hard word, but they like, you know what I'm trying to say. Fail, I guess, is the right word, but it sounds mean, and I don't like to sound mean. Not planning ahead far enough. So, especially with staying consistent. If you're going to do a weekly show, holy moly, there is so much planning that goes into it. So I like the idea that sometimes you can do series. So instead of doing like, okay, I'm going to commit to doing a live show every single week, just indefinitely, I like the idea of it being, okay, I'm going to go live every week for 3 months, and then I'm going to take a break. Just an option so that then you don't feel like you're like committed to forever. Um, so that's an idea. But I just think if you were going to have a goal of going live, you need to plan ahead far enough. And what I mean by that is not necessarily even like making sure you have ideas, but actually scheduling the broadcast. So here's an example of somebody, Jessica Chen. She goes live, I think it's once a month is what she does. But I just wanted to point out the difference in this number. So this first one, Stop Overthinking for Work Success, is scheduled for October 13th, so almost a month away. She only has 5 people that have RSVP'd to that. And Kimberly, failing is increasing our opportunity to learn. So it's not me, right? Okay. But you look at this, how to present confidently at work, that she did last week. And well, I guess a couple weeks ago, she had over 500 guests. And I know that's because she's planned ahead far enough that it was on the calendar and it was working with the LinkedIn algorithm for a whole month so that people could see and be interested in the idea of presenting confidently at work, and they could RSVP, they could add it to their calendar. And I'm willing to bet that she had a lot of people show up live. Oh, I want to acknowledge this question. What is StreamYard? Ooh, I'm so glad you asked. So LinkedIn is not the same as other platforms where you can just hit the go live button. So if you think of Instagram, we all know that there's like you just get on there, you hit go live, and then you're live. You can add in your guests, all of that. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. LinkedIn is not that way. You have to use a third-party tool. So where I'm at right now is StreamYard. So I'm not actually on my LinkedIn profile website. I'm on StreamYard, which is connected to my LinkedIn, which is broadcasting to you. So because of StreamYard, you can put on the comments like this. Oh, this is hard. This is harder than I give Kim credit for. Okay, yeah, right there. You can put on comments like this. You can add banners like this, and you can do the backgrounds and the slides that you're seeing right here. All of that I've created in Canva and uploaded into StreamYard, which StreamYard's the way that you are able to see all of this. So it's super user-friendly. I am like a huge fan, obviously. And I hope that answers your question. So anyway, let's see. So planning your show, Jeff, wow, I haven't ever planned a month ahead. I so relate to this. Like, not only, sometimes I wish I could plan a month ahead, but I'm married to somebody who doesn't plan dinner tonight. So I know planning ahead sounds like a little bit exhausting, but I promise that's the best way to get those attendee numbers up. So how do you plan ahead? Okay, so up until recently, I have had all of my clients' information in Google Drives. So in a Google sheet that has the episode details, what number it is, what topic it is, what guest they have, all of that information I have in Google, which is part of my Mastering LinkedIn Live course. This QR code right here, you can see. I have the Google Sheet option, which is super straightforward. I think most of us at this point are pretty comfortable with Google. Um, and it's a great place to have all your information, obviously. However, I have become obsessed with Notion. And Notion allows you to have different views of things. So, for example, I have a calendar, but it also links to a um, so when you go into the calendar, you can have like a whole page pull up that you can draft out like your StreamYard description or like the caption for LinkedIn that people see. You can draft out what you want to talk about. You can, like we were talking about earlier, gather information on guests and put all of that information in there. So Notion's kind of like my new pastime hobby. Well, not pastime, I guess, because I use it for work, but like it's kind of like my new thing that I'm so excited about. I'm transferring all of my clients' stuff in there because it's just more, um, there's more that you can do in it. So, Russ, I would love to know, like everybody, when I say like we should move our stuff into Notion, not everybody, but a lot of people are just like, oh, like not another platform, not something else to learn. But Notion has been worth the learning curve. ClickUp. I've never heard of ClickUp. Russ, I'm gonna have to look into that. Okay, so let me look at a few of these questions. Sorry, I have been, let's see, I have so many issues with these live events. I usually have to refresh my page at least once. Darn, Liz. Sometimes a video just starts from the beginning. Okay, that's actually really good feedback to know. I wonder if there's something that is a LinkedIn issue or if it's a StreamYard issue, because I know that they usually have that. That's super frustrating. Okay, James, how do you schedule a live stream a month in advance? I thought they only allowed you to go out 2 weeks in advance. Um, James, personally, they just, well, I guess it's not been just, it's been a couple of months that they took the streaming or the scheduling lift or band off of LinkedIn specifically. So I know for Facebook, if you're streaming to Facebook, they only allow you to schedule a week in advance, but StreamYard or LinkedIn, I've been able to schedule a month in advance for multiple clients on multiple different StreamYard accounts. So yeah, I would be interested to see if maybe that was just, you should try to schedule an event and let me know if you're still having that problem, because I think that that's probably something you should ask StreamYard about. So anyways, all right, so when you're scheduling, that kind of leads to this. When you are scheduling your show, what does that mean? What does that look like? So StreamYard, super user-friendly, like I was saying. It literally, you're going to add a title for what the show is called, a description, which really is going to end up being a caption on LinkedIn. And then you hit this little schedule for later, that tiny little check mark box right above create broadcast on the screen. That's how you do it. You would upload a thumbnail and hit create broadcast, and it would post a post for you on LinkedIn or an event on LinkedIn. So you no longer have to create an event on LinkedIn as well. So as soon as you schedule on StreamYard, it creates an event on LinkedIn, and it also creates a post. So it's kind of a little bit, there's kind of a lot to that. But yes, so Russ is saying they removed the limits. So yeah, it's a lot easier now. Okay, so that's how you just plan the show. Planning for guests is a whole other thing. So guests can make a show so much fun and the conversation so good, but it also requires a lot of extra planning and a lot of extra communication. So for us, we noticed back when we started bringing guests on that was definitely the most difficult part of my job, was getting communication with the guests to go through well. And that I don't know, like some people, it's just interesting to see different people's styles for things like this. So here are some things that have helped us with our guest planning process. Email templates. Those are like the if I would have done email templates earlier, I would have saved myself a lot of stress. But if you don't know how to create a template in Gmail, I also have that in the course, kind of walking through how to do that. But those have been life-changing. I also have copied all of our guest interactions. So we give them a lot of heads up, we give them the link, and um, like kind of dummy proof it. So that because some people, I swear, and I can be the same way. It's like, oh yeah, that's 2 weeks away, so I'm just like not gonna worry about it. And then the 2 weeks come, and they're like, oh, where's that? What like? How did I check my internet speed again? Where's the link to it? Anyways, so all of that, um, and then weekly systems. I literally have in my calendar repeating tasks, and then the same set of questions. Meaning, when we schedule the guest, I have a whole system of how to gather the same information, like a bio, a headshot, if there's anything that they're working on that they want to talk about, like a book or a course, or if there's a specific social media channel they want us to push, all of that. I have that in when we schedule. So it's super easy. Like I say, okay, you want to be on Coffee with Kim or any other, I've done a couple other shows, and send them this Calendly that they fill out full of questions and answers. And then it just automatically comes to me with all of those answers. So it's been super great that way. Kimberly, how do you get the dual screens when you have guests? Oh, yes. So StreamYard has like a unique link that you'll send to them. So you will send, instead of a Zoom link, think of it that way kind of though, it'll be a StreamYard link that they just click into, and then they're right in here. It's super easy for them. They don't really have to do anything aside from like allow access to their mic and their camera and write their name. So that's how I hope that answers your question. And then setting clear expectations, but keeping those expectations pretty low is another thing that helps with guests. So just letting them know like what to expect when they join, and kind of giving them a little bit of boundaries, if you will. Here's how long we're talking. Here's what's okay to say. Here's what's not okay to say. All of those things. A big thing to remember, you can only control yourself when it comes to guests. So if the guest doesn't prepare well, if their lighting's not good, if they're saying random things, all of that, that's kind of part of live streaming, and you can only control what you can control. So okay, let's see. So I'm gonna hurry. I'm about done, out of time. But I'm curious, what is your biggest fear about going live on LinkedIn? So for me, it's always that nobody will come to the party. So I'd love to know what is your biggest fear and what holds you back. But as I've seen today, there's awesome people here. And yeah, my biggest fear is always like, oh, what if nobody shows up? But people show up. And here's why, even if nobody shows up, why that actually is not the end of the world. So, like we talked about earlier, so many ways to repurpose your content. Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, so many ways. Jim, glad you share my same same fear. Oh, I hate this. Having the beauty haters show up. Ugh, the internet is so rough. I know. Yes. Guests, planning ahead, having guests lined up and ready that takes so much. There's so much to that planning. So I totally agree on that, Jill. Okay, Kelly, I hate being on camera. I'm also afraid I wouldn't get enough guests lined up fast enough to stay consistent. Interesting point. But also, there's ways to combat this. Like, and I also feel like once you start going live, you get more people that are willing to go live with you. So again, I think that that's one that like I feel like would solve itself as you go live. So going blank, deer in the headlights moment. Yes, agreed on that one too. So okay, anyways, let's keep going because I'm trying to get you guys out of here. I said around like 30 to 40 minutes was what I was going to try to do. So, but I do want to acknowledge James' idea of having a dry run that you do before. I always meet, yeah, I can't find his actual one, but I always meet with a guest beforehand or try to. And this helps eliminate a lot of anxiety about like what to expect. Because even people I've noticed that have gone live or are like keynote speakers who do tons of virtual stuff, they want to know what your system is, what your style is, what you're expecting. And being able to like talk through that before you're actually live is huge. So, love the idea of a dry run before. I usually offer like 15 minutes before to meet with the guest. Is there a software platform that allows practice? Carrie, StreamYard does allow practice. So you can go into StreamYard and just record, like only record, not go live. Nobody sees it. And that's been super helpful for me and other people that I've known who've been nervous, is just coming in StreamYard using the exact same platform. So it's much easier when you're actually live on LinkedIn because it feels the exact same, except for that people aren't talking back to you, obviously, when you're just recording. So another cool thing about StreamYard I want to point out is you can stream to multiple places: Facebook page, Facebook group, LinkedIn page versus just a LinkedIn profile, and a YouTube channel, which I think that's one that's like super underrated right now, is the YouTube channel because it's super easy to connect. And I've seen a lot of its success with clients that we've created YouTube channels for only for this reason. So just an idea. And YouTube's also really pushing for people to go live. So there's another reason to add that. And like we talked about earlier, after you've gone live, super user-friendly, simple way of downloading your recordings. The video recording is MP4, audio recording is an MP3. So again, you can repurpose that in so many ways. If you want to just cut clips, anyways, from the live stream, super, super simple. So once you've downloaded these files, what do you do with them? The MP3 and the MP4, store them somewhere safe, first and foremost. Lesson learned the hard way, but it's okay. StreamYard has up to a 50-hour limit, which seems like a lot. But for shows that it's like weekly, that can kind of get overwhelming. So use the audio only for podcasts, trim the video for more short form content. You can even take the audio only and add graphics on Canva to like put out, those like cute sound bites that have like the little waves. Anyways, there's another idea. So we've kind of gone through some of our questions. If you guys have any other questions or I've missed anything, please don't be afraid to ask them. Thanks, Kimberly, for saying this. I know I'm trying to read the comments, and listen, I always tell people like, oh, it's not that bad. And then when I actually have to go live and do it, I'm like, okay, it is a little bit nerve-wracking. I'll give you that. And there is a lot to look at. And there's a lot of things to remember. So I know that like it can seem extremely overwhelming to go live, but thanks for saying this, Kimberly. I hope that you will be going live soon and I can join one of yours. Thank you, James. Like I'm saying, I feel like this is kind of one of the only ways left in the internet world to have authentic conversations and build authentic relationships. I know that word gets used a lot, but I really feel like this live streaming is like one of the last ways left on the internet to be real right off the gate with your audience. So thank you for joining me today. Here is just a little thing. This is what you could expect if you got into my Mastering LinkedIn Live course, which is available if you scan that with your phone. I have different software setups, so that's going to be like StreamYard, Calendly to ask those questions, like I mentioned earlier with guests. And I also have Canva templates for all of this that's going on. So having this background, having the intro, outro things look the same, all of that is in there. And then just more of me talking through how to exactly do this crazy live streaming thing. So if you're nervous, as so many of us are, I know. But I offer also a systems walkthrough where we just talk it through together, and also the option to have me help you and be in the background and produce the show, because it's a lot easier to only be focused on the camera and the comments and just kind of show up for the show versus having to run all of the things in the background. So anyways, thank you so much for being here today. You guys are the best. Please feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to email me. Here's my email, and please connect with me. Russ, I'm glad that you sent me a connection request. This has been so fun and not quite as scary as I thought it might be. I mean, it always is a little bit nerve-wracking, of course, but it's been so great to see you guys and talk to you. And I hope that you go live and let me know where you're going live and when you're going live so I can join in and talk with you. And please reach out if you have any questions, like literally any questions. I am here. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.